Just like everybody else, narcissists do need people in their lives, but narcissists need people for much different reasons than most people need people. And understanding the difference between how you need people and how a narcissist needs people can help you make more informed decisions on how you want to handle relationships in your life that you may have with a narcissistic person. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I am providing links below for you. I think we're all familiar with the reasons that we need people in our lives. It's perfectly natural for most human beings to crave connection, acceptance, community, and the ability to communicate with other people, understand other people, and be understood. This is a really commonly understood human need. So what do narcissists need people for? I think it's important to understand this because especially when things start to go wrong in a narcissistic relationship, we're probably operating under the assumption that the narcissist in our life needs us the same way that we feel like we might need them. We operate under the assumption that the narcissist values the relationship in the same way that we do, and that the narcissist's emotional needs are similar to our own. And this can really leave us open to manipulation and actually a dangerous level of misunderstanding that can cause us to stay in a dangerous situation without understanding that that's the reality of what we're doing. So I'm going to go over several reasons that narcissists need people so that you can understand the difference and understand why things are going wrong in the way that they're going wrong, and you can understand how dealing with it under the assumption that they feel similarly to the way that you do can actually lead to bigger and bigger problems for you. One of the biggest reasons that narcissists need other people is for external validation, or what we commonly call supply. Narcissists cannot validate themselves. They really cannot believe in themselves. Narcissists may seem grandiose, they may seem like extremely confident people, but this extreme confidence that you might see in some of them is actually just overcompensation for their extreme insecurity. A narcissist's ego is extremely fragile, pathologically fragile and weak and small. They live with this 24/7, and their whole mission in life is really to block out how terribly they actually feel about themselves. So this is something that they really need other people to help them with. They can't look at something they've done or some way that they are and think, good job, to themselves. They have to hear it from outside themselves in some way. They need other people to somehow let them know that they're doing a good job, or that they're an important, relevant person, or that they're likable, or whatever it is they want to see about themselves. Some narcissists just feel really good if they're able to scare people. So it doesn't always have to be positive feedback. If people are really scared of them, that makes them feel really important. They're not all like that, but they do all need whatever form of validation they're looking for in other people. And you might think, well, that's not so bad. I mean, what's so terrible about somebody that needs external validation? A lot of us actually need external validation. A lot of us struggle with being able to validate ourselves. The problem with narcissists is this is an all-consuming, overwhelming, constant need. They are desperate to fulfill this need. It is all they ever think about. It is their 24/7 life mission. And they are so desperate for this that they take absolutely no time to consider how what they're doing affects other people. And they can be vicious and cruel and ruthless if that's what they have to do in order to get this external validation. So that's really where the problem lies. Somebody that struggles with external validation but isn't a narcissist is probably going to have a line that they're not willing to cross in order to get external validation from other people. Narcissists do not have any line. They will do anything they need to make themselves feel better about themselves if they think they can get away with it. And that's why this is so problematic. Another reason that narcissists need people around is to distract them. Basically, to distract them from themselves, from their own mind. A narcissist's emotional landscape is a horrifying place. Their mind never stops. These self-loathing, horrible voices in their head telling them what a piece of garbage they are going nonstop. This insecurity that always creeps up in some form or other is constantly chasing them. Even a narcissist that has recently been able to really prop their ego up with a whole bunch of external validation is not going to be able to hold that feeling very long. It's like they're constantly sinking into a pit of despair, and they need people around them to distract them from this hell that they live in. And if you care about a narcissistic person, this too might not seem so bad. I mean, what's the harm in this, right? I'm perfectly willing to spend some time with somebody that I love and care about if it helps them distract themselves from this horrible storm that's constantly brewing in their head. Unfortunately, narcissists will take out their angst and frustration and anger and fear on the people around them, and they do not care how this affects you. No matter how much you care about them, no matter how much of yourself you're trying to give to them, no matter how much you're trying to help them, they don't appreciate one bit anything that you're doing. They see you as a tool that they can use to make themselves feel better. So as they're sitting there with this storm brewing in their head, they're looking around for something to distract themselves, and they see you. They're going to use you as an emotional punching bag. They're going to blame you for the way they feel. They're going to take this horrible emotional storm they have and try to dump it on you. So it's not a matter of you just sitting there distracting them, like playing board games or just talking to them or whatever. They need an emotional toilet that they can vomit all of this emotional baggage into. And they are more than happy to completely ruin your day or ruin your life if that's what it takes for them to be able to feel better. So this is not just some harmless thing that you can help them with. This is something that they will destroy you with if they need to. Closely related to this is another reason that narcissists need people, and that is for projection. Narcissists need somebody to blame. They can't handle all these awful feelings they have about themselves, these feelings of failure, of insecurity, of not being good enough for anything. They need somebody to project that onto. They need to pretend that it's somebody else's fault or somebody else's problem. And so they need people for that. They need you there to blame their problems on. They need you there to create a situation in which they can pretend that you're the one with the problem. A common example of one way that they do this is to provoke you. If they're feeling angry, if they've got these ugly emotions within them, they will provoke you. They will do things to try to anger you. They will push your buttons, and they will do things in order to get you to react, so that when you finally have had enough and you lose your temper and you start acting out angrily, they can say to themselves, yes, she or he is the one with the problem. Clearly, look at how angry they are. It's not me. I'm not the one with these anger problems. It's them. And they need people for that. They need people to dump their emotional baggage onto. And projection is another way they do that. If they didn't have other people to project their garbage onto, if they didn't have other people to blame or other people to pretend that they're the one with the problem, they'd have to face their problems themselves. They would have to acknowledge that they have a problem, and they really can't handle that. So that's another reason they need people. Another reason that narcissists need people is for reinforcement, people to back them up. They need a fan club. They need flying monkeys. If you don't know what a flying monkey is, you probably do if you're watching this video, but if you don't know what a flying monkey is, it's basically all the little minions that a narcissist collects. People that are loyal to the narcissist. People that believe that the narcissist is some really great, nice, smart, awesome person. a person that believes the lies that the narcissist tells about other people. So a flying monkey to a narcissistic abuse victim would basically be somebody that is blaming the abuse victim for what the narcissist has done because they believe the lies that the narcissist has told. And narcissists need people for this. Narcissists can't conduct a smear campaign on you if there's nobody to smear you to. They need a collection of people that believe in them and are loyal to them and that can make them feel better. This is how they can get more external validation. If they can torment you to the point where you finally leave, they need some people left that they can go talk to about how awful you actually are, and then get positive feedback from those people so that they can convince themselves that you really are the one to blame for all of this because all these people that they're lying to are telling them that you are. And closely related to this is the way that narcissists need people to use as leverage against other people. So this little band of people that the narcissist has collected, the narcissist can dip in there and start pitting them against each other without them realizing. Narcissists will cause arguments between people that they know while making it look like they didn't have anything to do with it. Like, I knew a very narcissistic person that was in a position of authority in a company that would ask one employee, what do you think about this person over here? What do you think about their job performance? I've got concerns. Be honest. Tell me what you really think. And if that employee said anything negative at all, then this person would then go to the person that they said these negative things about and then in some manipulative way bring it up and say, you know, I wasn't going to say anything, but some people around here are saying that, and then repeat these negative things. And then it would appear to be a beef between these two employees, but really the narcissist is the one that created the situation in the first place by asking questions that maybe these people would have never said anything if they hadn't have been provoked. And narcissists might do this just for fun, you know, I mean, they need people for entertainment, right? Or of course they might do it just so that they can feel really powerful, or they might do it in order to win favor with probably both sides, to make both sides think that, hey, you're really special because I'm asking you for your opinion. I really trust you. And hey, you're really special because I just think that you deserve to know what this person said about you. Another reason that narcissists need people is just for their resources. They need people for their money, for their time, maybe for their talents, for their intelligence if they have intelligence. They need people to help them build their empire or to work on their epic project for them. To a narcissist, people are just tools that can be used. And many narcissists have these epic projects in their imaginations, or these empires that they're building, or just some amazing, awesome thing that they're working on. And they have absolutely no hesitation in taking advantage of other people and exploiting other people in order to help them build whatever amazing thing that they're working on. And they don't feel the least bit guilty at all for taking somebody's money and time and resources and emotional energy. They have no regrets whatsoever in completely draining people for their own benefit. And I've seen this where they will actually think that they're doing you a favor by draining you of everything you have to help them with their special project, because somehow that's going to give you the privilege of being part of what amazing, epic, world-changing thing that they're working on. And another thing that narcissists need people for is to help them create their own narrative. Narcissists cannot stand to face reality. They do not want to look at the reality of how they really feel about themselves. They do not want to look at the reality of who they really are. They do not want to live in the real world. They create a fantasy world where they are the center of the universe and everything happens for them and because of them. And the whole world is a stage in which everybody is acting out a movie that is just about the narcissist. The narcissist is the main character and everybody is like an extra or a supporting role in this amazing epic story about the narcissist's life. So they need people to play these parts in this movie about themselves. They can't do it by themselves. So they need whoever they imagine is going to be in this epic story about them. They need people to fill these roles. If they imagine that they're going to be this amazing, successful businessman, well, they need all their little employees and whoever they imagine is going to be under them. They need their super powerful, important business partners that they imagine in their head, or whoever they have in their imagination. They need people to fill these roles. And this is actually really important to understand if you are in a romantic relationship with a narcissist and you are starting to have some serious troubles with this person. It's really important to understand that a pathological narcissist views their romantic partner as somebody that is playing a role that they have already made up in their head. So they don't see you as whoever it is you actually are. They see you as the person, the perfect person that they have imagined in their mind would be their romantic partner, whoever that might be. And when you don't fit this role perfectly, this really angers them because this is really, really important. They need this magical epic story to be told perfectly to make them feel okay about themselves. So if you're not reading your lines correctly, if you're not playing the role correctly, you are messing everything up that they live for. And this is a huge part of the control that they need to have over everybody. They feel totally entitled to not just tell you what to do, but to tell you what to think and what to say and how to act, because you're supposed to be filling this role in their fantasy. That's what they need you for. This is part of how they're going to make themselves feel good about themselves. And this is why they need to control you. And this is also why once you decide you've had enough and you want to leave them, if they don't have someone lined up to fill that role that you're playing, they can become absolutely desperate to regain control of you and to shove you back into that box that they've got you in. Not because they miss you, not because they even know who you are or care about the relationship at all, but because you were fulfilling a role for them. You were providing external validation. You were there to help distract them. You were there as somebody that they could project all their garbage onto. You were there to help them build their grand empire, and they don't have anyone to replace you with yet. They don't even know what to do with themselves in that kind of situation. And this is why they can become so desperate to regain control of you. It is not out of any feelings of affection or sentiment whatsoever. It is out of desperation and a need to control other people. This is why they are willing to say or do anything in order to appear to be whatever it is you need to see, which is probably somebody that cares about you and is willing to change their behavior for the relationship. So they will say all the things you've been waiting for them to say, because they know what it is you need. They know why you're unhappy. So if you try to leave them and they don't have someone to replace you with, they are suddenly going to fulfill the role that they know that you're looking for. And this is why you cannot trust anything they say when you're trying to leave them. Always trust history and trust how they have treated you over the course of the relationship before you ever give a second thought to the things that they say and do as you're trying to get away. Narcissists do not need people for the reasons that we may think they do. They do not need people to connect with. They don't want to connect with people because they don't want anyone to truly understand them. They don't want people getting a peek into this toxic mind that they have to live in 24/7. They don't want you to know about that. They don't want you to know about the garbage that goes through their head all day and their extreme insecurities. They don't want anyone to know about that. So they don't want to communicate with you. They don't want to communicate what they're really in it for. They don't want to communicate to you how they really feel about you. So they don't need people for connection. They don't need people for communication. They don't need people for community. They don't need people for reciprocity. I mean, why would they want to give you anything they don't absolutely have to give you? Narcissists are in a relationship to get as much out of that relationship as they possibly can. And the only reason they give back is because maybe in some situations they absolutely have to give certain things back in order to keep the relationship, or they give you things back so that they can hold those things over your head later and make you feel guilty for wanting to leave. So narcissists are not in a relationship to get to know anybody, and they're not in a relationship to give anything. They're in relationships to take everything they can, to take everything that they need, to drain people completely if they need to, without a second thought as to the devastation they leave behind. Narcissists need people to use up and throw away because no one can ever fulfill the needs of a narcissist, but they sure can drain you of everything you have. And then when you've got nothing left to give them, they'll just move on to someone else because nobody will ever be able to give them enough. They are an endless black hole of need that will just suck everything out of anyone they can until there's nothing left and just move on to other people, with none of it ever having done any good for anybody. The narcissist is actually more helpless alone than a normal person is. Narcissists actually need people more than other people need people. And it's really too bad that they have such a desperate toxic need for other people that it causes them to have almost no empathy for the people that they're taking from, and it causes them to resort to cruel, vicious tactics if they need to in order to extract what they need from the people around them. It's really kind of sad when you think about it, but I hope that you can see through this explanation of why narcissists need people that this is not your problem. And even if it was, this is not a problem you can fix. You can spend your whole life giving everything you have to a narcissist, and it will not only not be enough for them, it will do no good whatsoever for them. They will always come right back to the starting point as soon as you're done giving them whatever you've given them. And none of it will have ever made any difference whatsoever. Even though they desperately need other people, everything they take is worth nothing the minute after they've taken it. And it really is a complete waste of time and energy from anyone that is trying to give of themselves to a narcissist. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.